Hello. Hello. Okay, cool. Ha. Channels are hot. All right. Ahoy. So today, we're going to be talking on today's coaching call about in-person versus online coaching. If you happen to be online, if you happen to be watching, I would love to see, are you an in-person coach, an online coach? Are you looking to switch from one to the other, or what your business model looks like in general? Now, one thing that comes up, if you're following this channel, if you're following Barbell Logic Academy, if you're following Barbell Logic, if you're following what we do, we're an online fitness company. So you've probably heard Matt or me or Andrew or somebody talk about the advantages of online coaching. And there are plenty. Like online coaching, there's a reason why a lot of people moved online, and it wasn't just COVID. There is, of course, like the most obvious one is the flexibility. Flexibility in time, flexibility in location, flexibility in cost. And that flexibility transfers down to your client. So if I'm watching my client in person for 1 hour, even those times when they're just kind of sitting in between sets, or they might not have something to say, or they're an introvert and you're just kind of like, there's not much to contribute of direct value in that moment, the client still has to pay for that because that's your time. Online, not so much. They channel exactly the information that you communicate and build the system into, and then you respond to the highest points of importance in their lifts, whether it's their lifts, their programs, something like that, and that allows you time flexibility and time savings that you transfer over to costs. I have lifters who train 4 days a week, and if I were to watch every set of their workout for that 4 days a week, that would be 4 in-person sessions at the prices I charged when I was in person. They'd be paying $480 a week. Like, that is simply unsustainable. So we can provide a lot of value in at a reasonable cost for the individual buyer, which is cool. There's also, and that transfers to a higher dollar per hour rate for you. You contribute more value, even though you're charging dramatically less than a comparatively similar service, because you're charging, let's say, $200, $250 a month, compared to $100 a session for 8 sessions in a month, for example. So your dollar per hour rate, if you're efficient, if you move well, can actually be a lot higher in online coaching than it is at an in-person gym. And then finally, like online, you have a range of tools and options. It's a lot easier to, like, how do you prefer to manage your life? There's Notion, there's Slack, there's whatever tools you want to arrange that fit into your daily schedule and your daily routine can become part of your work routine, which for some people, especially the solopreneur, can be really cool, can be a great way to organize their life and their time. However, you might expect me to go, everyone should be online. Everyone should be an online coach. And I think we forget some of the advantages of in-person coaching.
Hi, Dad.
Hey-o.
Hey, I got you some Patrick's Day cereal.
You got me some St. Patrick's Day cereal?
Ah.
This is my little guy. Hey, Dylan, can you wave to the camera? It's over here. The camera's over here.
Hey, Dylan, come on, let's go get you lunch.
Thanks, little guy.
Can I have Patrick's Day cereal?
We're gonna get lunch first, okay?
I think we forget sometimes the advantages of in-person because we didn't even think about them before online became a possibility. The first is geolocation. So one of the things that people talk about in the business coaching space is that in person, whether you're running a Anytime Fitness or running out of your house, most people aren't going to drive more than 25 miles to go to a gym. It's pretty much the very outer reaches of your limit. And for a lot of people, that there's like a 15, 20 minute window between their work, home, and somewhere along that corridor. So, and some people that's like, oh, that narrows down my market so much. I'm so limited and there's so much other competition in this geolocation. But what it also means is, can you be special to everyone within 25 miles? Can you be special for me in the city of Oceanside? Not San Diego, not California, not the United States, not the world. Can I be special to the people here? And all of a sudden, that changes the equation a lot. Like, do I need to be putting out entertainment grade podcast material and online material if I'm coaching in person? No, I could run the best grills in the park with a workout first that finishes with that. That would be memorable. That would stand out in a way that is not only personally satisfying, but gets a lot more impact to ROI than a lot of what we do in social media, a lot of what we do in the online space. So geolocation, it narrows you down, but narrowing down isn't necessarily a problem because it can make it a lot easier for you to stand out. Another thing about geolocation as well is we can be really clever about what our space does for us. So let's say you're pretty closely located to an airport. When I started coaching, most of my clients were one-offs who would come in because San Diego is a reasonable hub and I was the closest coach that they trusted within like a 15, 20-minute drive of an airport. And so the San Diego International Airport. And so I would get a lot of one-offs from people flying in from around the world, around the country. And those one-offs, I could transfer into online coaching clients. Deliver a great session, dialing in their main lifts, leave them with, tips, and send them an email, unprompted, a day later, with video of their lifts and my commentary the same way I would give it in online coaching. And tell them, hey, by the way, I do this same coaching in this same style online. If you're interested in continuing this relationship, even though you're not here in San Diego. And that geolocation, that physical presence, made online even possible for me at that time. Next, one of the things we talk about is how much cheaper it is to go online. And that's true. But there are costs that we don't think about as coaches that get resolved or solved in person. So if I'm coaching someone online, they're paying X amount a month. Like a usual charge anywhere from for a month, anywhere depending on the type of services you range from $100 to the 300-ish, like 500, kind of at the upper end for a sustained monthly to monthly coaching relationship for most coaches. Regardless where you are in that range. They're paying that. They're also paying for for the gym that they're going to use to implement what you're doing, any equipment that you recommend. All of those prices end up getting folded into, sometimes missed, in the cost of online coaching. If you're in person, that can be bundled up with membership in your gym. If you own a home gym, that's a cost that they don't have to pay. So in person, that is one advantage that we often forget about. And then finally, community. So we talk about community and online and how to build community as best we can. And let's face it, it's really hard. Most of the time, and this is not always true, there are some coaches who do really well at building a sense of community. They've got in-jokes, they've got massive numbers in their groups or their side. There are some coaches who are really great at that. Most of us aren't. And most coaches who have great community actually got there by plugging into great community. I'm reminded of during COVID, there was the bodyweight fitness subreddit, which, as you can imagine, during COVID blew up massively. And a lot of the coaches who had been there in that space, providing progressions, providing tips, just being there and present and being seen as an expert in that space, saw an immediate jump, and there was an inherent community built into what it was that they were doing. They weren't good at building community. They were good at being a member of a community who kept providing value. And then they're already in on the in-jokes, right? They're already in on that presence. But if you need to build community, if you need to make that space, if you have a skill for in-person contact and really bringing that energy into the gym or into the session, in-person is kind of the way to go. You can bridge that gap somewhat, in online coaching, we do video in video reviews. So you can get a lot of I do a lot of gesturing with my hands. Like, you can get a lot of this hearing from me each day, my responses to your videos, talking about your programming, that kind of thing. But it's just different than when I'm there in person and you're going to see me and we're going to be like in company there. So online, in person, both have advantages. Which one do we choose as coaches? Again, you would think that I would be like, online wins it out because Barbell Logic online coaching. You know, the Barbell Logic's online coaching's academy is what I lead. I think there's really two driving factors. One, your personality, your strengths in particular. So I think it is really important for most coaches to start in person, but a lot of that in-person skill building can be done while you're still a lifter. While you're in that transitioning phase. I spent almost two years coaching friends, family, lifters, before I started coaching professionally, and got a lot of that done. You know what I mean? So some people can start online, so to speak. So I don't think that's necessarily 100% required, but if you're a novice, it helps. If you have a personality that you can't stay in the house, you can't sit in front of a computer for 4 hours a day, that's going to be your choice. The same with online. And how the skills that you tend to bring. If you're a Python programmer, if you're a spreadsheet person, or if you just, you're like me, I moved entirely online because we had a new kid and I wanted to spend time at home. Like, that's part of your personality is your needs. Online is going to be for you. I'm going to take a pause here. From Maxwell Rose, how hard is it to manage both? That's what we're about to talk about. Cool. So, the second thing in terms of which you should do is to take out of your mind that you can only do one. So I don't like to think of this as like having a private practice and having an online practice. I prefer hybrid coaching, as for, I think most coaches, that's probably where they're going to end up, either hybrid or online. And hybrid coaching, that business model is a little bit different. It's you offer the same service. You offer monthly continued programming. You offer in-person sessions, either drop-in or the client has open gym. There are a bunch of different ways to blend hybrid. But instead of seeing online coaching as a business model, it is how you deliver coaching. It's how you deliver your programs. It's how you deliver video reviews. It's how you deliver exercise correction or whatever it is that you do. Online is just the way that you do that to save them money. The way I like to think about hybrid coaching, if I'm working with someone 8 times a month, that is a massive waste of both of our time and probably their money. I can see them twice a month, and the other 6 sessions, they could be getting from me online. That's how I like to picture hybrid. And so when the question, how hard is it to manage both? If you think about it that way, if you integrate your online coaching practice into your in-person or vice versa, if you start online and then you're going to move into the in-person space, trying to keep them within your workflow as close as possible, it is actually probably better to manage both. It's not just easier because it's just more clients, but it saves you that time, which you can then use to take that breather, to catch yourself, and figure out how you want to make your systems work to make it successful. That's a great question. And that can be a big problem for people. They're like, I'm trying to run my gym, my home gym, with this group of clients. And I'm also trying to be, glutes by Gotcher online and run this whole separate practice with a social media profile and, all this kind of stuff. And it's just exhausting. By the way, glutes by Gotcher, not a thing. I'm not doing it. But that can feel exhausting. That can be, and it is. It's running 2 separate businesses. Instead, if I were Glutes by Gotcher, I would be coaching glutes in person. I would be Glutes by Gotcher online. I would be running both of those through similar systems, and it's really just scaling up and down how much personal contact the person wants. If they live in Romania, they're not going to get any in-person contact, but the systems for them onboarding, enrolling, getting coaching, would be the same. It's just the pricing and the number of in-person contact points. Well, thanks so much. If you have any other questions, you can find me, you can message the Barbell Logic Academy Instagram channel. That's where you are right now. Hi. You can message me at CJ Gotcher. That's my personal Instagram channel. And if you're an Academy student, you can find me in the Slack channel for the course. The recording for this will go up on our YouTube channel, and highlights will come here on the Instagram page. Thank you so much. If you want to go deeper into that online coaching practice, specifically how to be excellent, how to be efficient in your online coaching, because when we're not efficient at delivery, online coaching can actually deliver a worse dollar per hour than in person. So if you're finding yourself, maybe you're starting online coaching and you're like, oh my God, this is worse. Like, this feels terrible. Like, I have no time. Or maybe you don't want to find yourself in that boat and you're looking to make that switch. We have a course, Online Coaching Excellence, at barbell-logic.com. You can find it there under Barbell Academy. Thank you so much. Again, you know how to reach me if you have any questions. It has been a pleasure, and I will catch you next week. We will be talking about alternatives to entrepreneurship. So a lot of people who love coaching, they want to help people lift. They want to help people condition and train. They want to do that, but the idea of being an entrepreneur is just overwhelming, like running a whole business themselves. So do you have to? That'll be next week. Thanks so much. I'll catch you then.